Let's run through some other news and other sports.
I was thinking of calling it the final round, like a UFC type,
On Esky, final round.
Quick, cover a lot of sports, but try to keep everyone up to date.
Yes.
Sean, take it away with the supercars, please.
Yeah, well, the first one, supercars, starts this week. First race is at Bathurst, the Bathurst 500, which I think is 2 races of 250 kilometres. So that's on, I think both races are on Saturday, actually. So that'll happen. That kicks it off. Supercars, of course, back on 7, the home of supercars and all that bullshit, which is interesting because they bought that instead of rugby. So that will start, and the season will go on, I think, for 6 months. Like, it's a pretty long season for them. But interesting to see that, hey, the supercars is going back at Bathurst. Bathurst 1000s, I think, is towards the end of the year. But I just wanted to mention it. That's supercars. Golf. What's been happening in the golf, Peppy?
So Max Homa won the Genesis Invitational, formerly known as the Los Angeles Open. I think that's his 4th tour win, but definitely the most prestigious and probably the most bank that he's made out of a tournament win. He missed a really close putt on the 18th that could have sealed it.
Yep.
It was like
got it in the playoff.
Under 5 foot. Then he goes against Tony Finau in a playoff, wins that by a stroke. Poor Tony Finau, he just is an absolute bridesmaid. His last tour win and only tour win, I think, was Puerto Rico 2016. So going back 5 years. Since then, 8 runner-ups, including three losses in playoffs, 21 times in the top 5 and 37 times in the top 10. Just a classic case of so close but so far. It's very consistent golf out of him. You love seeing it. Just can't get that elusive second win. And then a bit of a sadder story / crazy story.
Yeah,
really.
we probably should have covered this a bit more detail, but we're in the back end of now. But
And there's still a lot to come.
Yeah, a lot of news still to happen, but yes. So take it away. The story, Tiger Woods was involved in a high-speed crash. I think it was very much his own fault. I don't think anyone was involved in it. He's just lost control of his vehicle. It's rolled a few times. The front end of the car's crushed in. He's been trapped in the car. They had to use the jaws of life to get him out. He's gone through surgery. It sounds like he's had compound fractures of nearly every major bone in his legs.
Tib and fib for sure. Ankle shattered.
Shin as well. So they've basically had to rebuild his legs.
That is a tib and fib.
Oh, shut up. So they've basically had to rebuild his legs at this point. Put him back together. I suppose the news from today was he's awake, recovery in hospital, doing all right, of course, but he just had major surgeries on both his legs. There's talk about his career and whether that's it for him. Of course, he's, I think, the oldest guy to win a Masters at 44 or 45. No. Because I think Nichols was the only one that did it in his 40s as well, but he was younger than Woods at that time.
Okay.
Because it is pretty hard to win multiple rounds of golf when you get a bit older.
I know Jack Nicklaus won them pretty old. Monkey will chase that one up for
I think his last Masters was 44 and Woods was 45.
Definitely.
From memory, but
one of the greatest comebacks in sporting history.
Yes, agree. It's not to say that, hey, it's golf. He's probably got another 20 years in the sport, but whether, leg-wise...
it's a pretty devastating injury.
He needs to be able to walk again. Let's start with that. He needs, his legs need to heal, need to come together. He needs to walk again before he even starts thinking about swinging clubs. So wish Tiger all the best. There's some talk about... why he was speeding. I think he was filming something at the time.
He was hosting an event for the PGA.
And I think there was some filming involved with that. He left there in a hurry. The first responders didn't do any drug or alcohol tests because he was coherent when they arrived. There was no thought that of either of those two things. Just seems like it's an accident. Very unfortunate. very unfortunate kind of time of the year, considering it's been only 2 years since Kobe in his accident. Was it 2 years or a year?
Last year,
Last year, man.
That's the anniversary
seems so
was
long
a few
ago.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, rough. Did you see speaking of Kobe, I shouldn't segue from Tiger to Kobe, but some chat about getting Kobe as the NBA logo changing out. I can't remember who the current player is they have as the silhouette and changing it to Kobe's silhouette.
It's Jordan, isn't it?
No, it's not Jordan, I don't think. Or is it? Maybe it is Jordan.
I'm pretty sure it's Jordan.
It could be Jordan. Yeah, you could be right. But yeah, just to reflect that, Kobe and Kobe's involvement, immortalize him forever as the part of the NBA logo.
It looks like it changes pretty often.
Jerry West.
There you go.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think it was the Jordan logo. You're probably thinking it is because it's the one where he's bouncing the ball. So, yeah.
Chase that up for us, Jim.
Yeah. So that's the one that Kobe is the one they're kind of saying, they're like, hey, why don't we change it to this? Okay. Make that the silhouette instead of the Jerry West, which is, I'm assuming it's been Jerry West for a very long time considering how old he is.
It is the silhouette of the guy dribbling. Because
I think there's also a bit of, Jerry West, of course, being a white fella, backing its, the supports for African American players make them to the logo of the NBA. And like that middle one there, James, you've got of the, what's that silhouette?
It's pretty much the same shit.
Yeah, it is, but it's current. You're making it current of where it is and what, again, another Lakers player, another guy, looks like he wore 44, but 24. I think that's a fair shout. Why not?
Also, it's a fucking logo. So
True. You know what the old whites are like, though.
Yeah.
So Tiger was 43 and 3 months and 15 days when he won his last time he won.
Yep.
And Nicholas was 46, 2 months and 24 days.
Okay. So Nicholas was the older one.
Yeah.
But I think Tiger's...
And that's just to win the Masters.
Yes, that's a master. So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Cool. Some other sports, UFC, we'll run through this. The main fight from the weekend was Derek Lewis versus Curtis Blades. Blades was a heavy favourite in this, being number 2 and Lewis being 6, I think, in the rankings. Lewis lands an absolute bomb uppercut, flattens Blades. A few super necessary punches afterwards. Herb Dean pulls him off. Job's done. He wins. For the bookies, I think it was the biggest upset for them since Bisbee beat Luke Rockhold for the middleweight title.
When was that? 6 years ago.
No, not that long. 3 or 4.
I don't even think it would be that.
Yeah, it wasn't super long ago, but it was a big loss for the bookies. I think the worst one was probably Ronda and Holly Holm.
Yeah,
but that of course was before Bisbee and Rockhold.
Yeah, I remember watching that, and Ronda was probably $1.10. And Holly was $5-6 in that.
Yeah.
You got to keep an eye out for the POM, 27-year-old Tom Aspinall. Defeated Andrei Arlovsky, obviously former heavyweight champ, via rear naked choke. Arlovsky is 42, so 15 years difference.
Getting a bit on it. He did a bit of a run in the last couple of years, but I think he's lost a few since then. Susceptible to a bit of a knockout now. He's been hit in the face a fair bit.
Yep. What's going on with Valentina Shevchenko?
Officially been booked for a fight with Jessica Andrade for UFC 261. So we know who 259, that's coming up. Not this weekend, but next. And I think we'll cover this next week.
Yeah, I think we'll leave that for next week.
Yeah, and Jessica Andrade, think this is... No, she's come down in a weight. So I think this is her first fight for the title in this, because she had the title, took it from Rose, but then lost it to... Actually, no, she's come up in weight. She lost it to Zan, I think, who's now the Chinese lady who's now the champion. So she's actually come up in weight to fight Valentino, I think, from memory. But it's good. Bullet's got a fight. This is actually a pretty good fight for the both of them. I think Bullet, for me, I think she's the best female fighter. She pushed Nunes in their one fight. They should probably have another fight. If that fight goes 5 rounds, Shevchenko wins. Let's put it that way. So I'd very much like to see them have a fight.
Let's keep rolling, considering we're 3 hours 10 and it is
midnight.
very late here, especially for guys that have got to get to work tomorrow.
Yes.
Champions League, there was 4 legs during the week. Sorry, that's just replay of Ravi Ashwin there, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, replay.
Plum.
Got off. Joffrey.
That's
his 400th.
The away teams won all the legs, which is interesting. So
interesting.
Bayern
That's big.
beat Lazio 4-1 in Rome. Can't imagine Lazio come back from that when they have the return leg in Germany. This one's very interesting. Chelsea getting an away win at Atletico Madrid, 1-0. So when that goes back to Stamford Bridge, that'll be a really interesting one. Obviously, Chelsea with the away goal and the win. Be hard for Atletico to do it, but they're very good on paper, so that'll be one to watch. Man City put 2 on Borussia Mönchengladbach at Puskas Arena in Germany. You'd say they're through. And Real getting the 1-0 win against Atalanta. Not a bad effort from, really a minnow club there against the most successful Champions League side of all time.
Yep.
So take home message, I guess, out of those games. You'd think Bayern, City, Real all through, barring some kind of disaster, and Chelsea Atletico, that leg at Stamford Bridge will be one to watch.
Definitely. So Australian Open, I guess the finals happened over the weekend in between our podcasts. It's a bummer we have to cover this pretty quickly. Ahsoka wins hers, beats Jennifer Brady, gets her name wrong in the presser.
Did she really?
No, well,
Really?
Not wrong. She turns to Jennifer.
What did she call it, Tom?
No. She turns to Jennifer and asks her, what do you prefer to be called, Jennifer or Jenny? And she goes, Jenny. And she turns around and goes, Jennifer was a great competition.
Okay, so...
But I think it's just a brain fade. It was just
It's not
funny.
like she didn't know who she was.
No, it was just funny.
Okay.
But completely dominant.
Yep.
Yeah, straight sets win.
Yep. Straight sets against Serena as well in the semi, wasn't it?
Yeah. Clearly working towards that number one. So Ash Barty, look out. In the men's side of it, Djokovic, of course, wins his, does straight sets again, absolutely blows TM off the park. Actually, not TM. Medvedev. What am I doing? Medvedev.
We watched him play TM Friday night.
Yeah. Medvedev wins. Medvedev loses in this. Straight sets to Djokovic. Djokovic now 1 behind Nadal, I think.
Can you have a look at that?
Is it 20? Did he hit 20? Or is he one? He's on 19. He's one of the two. And he's chasing them quickly. Not our most favourite tennis player at the moment with the whole feud and all the stuff. Good to see him win.
Anti-vax vegan. Yeah, you lost me at anti.
Yeah. Interesting that he played most of the tournament with a tear in his stomach.
Yeah, he had mentioned that and then saying that it was bothering him. So no question about his tennis ability. Will obviously go down as one of the all-time greats. I just wanted to touch back on Naomi Osaka.
Yeah.
23 years of age.
So
She's got 4 majors now.
Yep.
So 2 Australian Opens, 2 US Opens. And a cool $20 million in prize money if you don't mind.
What's Serena at? Is she 24?
So I think Margaret Court is 24 and Serena's 23, and she had the opportunity to equal her here.
That's right.
She's 39 years old, Serena, still, an elite tennis player, 2 kids out. You can tell she's
so
hungry for that record. So I'm sure.
I'm saying Ahsoka, 23. She's got 4.
Yeah, well,
she's on track.
Definitely.
She plays another 16 years like Serena. And if she picks up 1 a year, then she's at 20 at that point.
Yeah,
so.
It's very close indeed. And quite a likable tennis player, I think. Quite humble in defeat. Humble in victory and gracious in defeat.
Yeah. Yes.
So Federer and Nadal are both on 20. Djokovic is on 18.
There you go.
So you'd think Djokovic probably goes past both those blokes.
He should catch them and go past them, but would you ever consider him the GOAT?
Oh, that's a question for another podcast.
Day.
I'll tell you what, right now, from what I'm hearing, I don't know if I'd enjoy sitting down and have a beer with him. I'll put it that way.
No.
Possibly not.
Last point. Thank you for anyone who's still going through us on the long version of the broadcast. It's not official yet, is it? But
One horse race is what it's at the moment.
okay.
Yeah.
2032 Olympics looks like it's coming to Brisbane. It'll be the third time the Olympics in Australia. Obviously, we have memories as kids. Sydney 2000.
Exactly. It's 32 years after the last Olympics here in Australia.
Oh, don't say that. That makes me feel so old.
Well, the other bit is by the time this comes around, we'll be in our 40s. And my other point is...
42,
Yes.
43.
yes. And hopefully by then, on the Esky is a global phenomenon.
Yeah, either that or we're all cruising around in our dinghies because the polar ice caps are melted, and Greta's saying,
True.
"I told you so, you bastards, you bastards! I want you, and you didn't listen." And on that note, that'll wrap us up. For
I think
this
that'll
week,
wrap us up.
Yeah.
Patel's just taken his 5th. He's got a fifer. So England
11 in the match, England in all sorts.
Yeah, 8 for 8, leader 47.
2-game test match. Thanks for that pitch. The Curators, the biggest stadium in the world, and they've come up with an absolute landfield.
You do realise they're going to play here next week too.
Hopefully they drop in. Start preparing a slab of concrete and drop that in for next week because that deck is fucking garbage.
Yeah, it is terrible.